But even inside NECA right now, their initiative with at least all the larger contractors across the country is reduce your number of distributors. And they've pushed it down, and they kind of have this number of 3. Get it down to 3 really good distributors and get rid of the rest of them, because that's costing you time, and time's money. You're bidding jobs, and you guys know it, when you're bidding a job, you're probably getting about 20% of whatever you bid. So there's a tremendous amount of unrecoverable costs associated with just bidding projects. And you said it earlier, you may never have had the insight on that one project you were working on. The more you can do up front to kind of figure that out, the better. You know, we see it, and it always surprises me. We'll have 12 contractors bidding a job, and you can drive by the job site, and there's an incumbent, and he's got 4 trailers sitting there, 4 project trailers sitting there, and I'm always thinking, you know, what are these other 11 guys thinking? You know, and it is, Mike, you alluded to it, and I think you did too, Joe, that sometimes they're using the other contractors just to get their preferred down to a certain price so that they never get too comfortable. I mean, I think it's all part of education and just understanding what the dynamics are in each individual situation and being a little smarter. You're facing it because, you know, we're maybe a little greedy in the fact that we need to understand we can only sell you what you can install. So if you don't have enough labor on your end to actually get these projects and get them done, we're all going to face that too. And that's a very real issue for the industry. You know, on the electrical contractor side, you know, about half of them are going to retire over the next 10 years, and they have half as many coming in as they have going out. So who's going to install that product? So it has to be in labor, and it's not just in product labor savings. It's on job, it's on site management. You know, challenge your distributor to get on that job site with you and take ownership of moving that material around and finding ways to get you out of the material handling industry, because that's not what you should be doing, and your guys shouldn't be doing that. So put it back on your distributor to get them involved to do that.
You've touched on so many things at once, it's hard for me to write things down. I am a NECA contractor. I deal with 2 distributors. One of my distributors I specifically use because they're WBE. They help me win jobs because they are WBE. They're a small regional distributor, and they look favorable to my customers. So when they start failing or floundering, we pull them in and have the conversation, which seems to be more frequent than not. But something you mentioned, and I've touched on a couple times today, is the education portion of it. Most of the distributor guys are anywhere from 24, I would say majority of them are under 40.
Under 40?
Under 40. The ones that come through my door. There are some that are over 40, but as far as agents. The education portion of it in this market, and I can only speak for this market because I'm a Florida EC, but they like to hire, most distributors like to hire educated people with a bachelor's degree. It was that way when I worked for GE Supply. And Jack Welch, he told us one time, this was before he retired, and he said, look, you gotta be good at one thing. He says, you gotta be a specialist. He says, if you're gonna be a gear guy, be a gear guy. You're gonna be a lighting guy, be a lighting guy. If you're gonna be a commodity guy, be a commodity guy. He says, but don't try to be a jack of all trades. And it's become too easy in this market to rely on our agents and the people that are calling on the engineers to educate the contractor and educate the end user. The distributors have done a good job of, well, the 2 that I use specifically have done a good job of helping us with our credit line. They do stock a good variety of product, and a lot of them are labor savers. There's a wire manufacturer that has a brilliant wire that we use specifically, but you nailed a bunch of things, and I just wanted to really point that out. I'm not poo-pooing all distribution because I can't survive without my regional distributor who is a WBE. I can't survive without them helping me finance the job. And I would love for whenever I have the conversation about education. Hey, you need to learn about gear, not just rely on your quotes department, because they'll have a lighting quotes department and they'll have a gear quote department, and the outside guys lean on them for expertise. I don't know. Let me get back to you, and that's fair because I don't know everything about my industry. But overall, we are not educated as we were years ago. And when I first started at GE, they had the black belt program, and you had to pick a program. You had to know it, and there's not enough of that out there now.
I agree with a lot of what you said. I think that, and I touched on before, product knowledge is key. I disagree with only one thing. I mean, I'm an ex-inside salesman, so I sold more gear, more lighting, more materials than any one department, because you sell, if you have it or they want it, you sell it. But I understand what you're saying, but hopefully as a distributor who, again, invests in brick and mortar and everything else, we add more value than being a bank for you. I mean, I heard you mention that a couple of times, and just simply financing it is not all we want to do. So I respectfully think that you ought to talk to your distributors about educating your salespeople, because they should have more product knowledge. That's, again, it's just an opinion. But.
And, Jack Welch was right, and you need specialists, but you should have that salesperson that is more of a business-minded individual that wants to help you grow your business, make you more profitable, truly partner with you, and then have that support behind them. We have quotations departments too. We have lighting departments, we have gear departments, but then we have a gear specialist. And then we have design build experts, as this gentleman is over here, that can value engineer that when it's the right opportunity. And, we have datacom specialists, we have automation and control, and we have security and video. So each of those specialists will come in behind that salesperson to support you when it's needed.
And that's a great point. That needs to happen more often, in my opinion, is the outside person bring that specialist to the contractor. And it's really tough. It's got to be tough for the distributor side, because that person handles so much at once. It's tough to get them out of the office. Hell, tough enough to let them go to lunch. But and I tell my distributors all the time, like, bring your quotes guy in. Bring your whole team in. I want to see the project management, the person who executes that order. I want to meet them. I've yet to meet them, and I've asked numerous times.
Because they're too busy?
The scheduling, vacations, all this stuff. There's always an excuse, but you nailed it, and you're right. And it's probably why you guys are successful, is the fact that you work together in that manner. Joint sales calls need to happen more often. That FaceTime, because you could have a casual conversation about something that's going on, and somebody's like, hey, I saw somebody do this. I'll show you what they did, or I'll explain what they did. And then all of a sudden you gotta win. He's got a great point too about offering VEs. I will caution you on this though, and I'm seeing it more often. You touched on it also, the online purchasing. A lot of building management companies, CB Richard Ellis, Jones Lang LaSalle, are all buying offshore products, lights that are not UL listed. You have no idea if they're all going to catch on fire. And they're having their maintenance people install them all throughout these buildings, and they're cutting all of us out of that. They're buying it online.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. So
Physically dangerous.
So they go in, they'll relamp a whole building. You got a call center, it's got 400, 500 people in it at one point in time, and they're going in and putting LED retrofit fluorescent tubes in that they bought offshore. That's something that's coming, every year is becoming bigger and bigger.
The LED market, you're right.
And not to say that all of it is bad product, because I bought some of it and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty good. But the thing is owners have gotten smart enough with their management companies to save a ton of money by buying that way. And they'll cut the agents out, they cut the distributors out, they cut everybody out by buying online or offshore.
And that's what's opened up our other issue in the industry, and that's the counterfeit product.
That's absolutely.
The infusion of the counterfeit product is going offshore and not knowing who you're even dealing with, or, you don't have an Erico, you don't have a brand, you don't have a team. It's some factory somewhere pumping stuff out, and they don't know who those people are, or whether they're there next week or, next year. So we all face these issues, and we have to really be careful of it. But we can be our own worst enemies by doing that.
In the time that we have, we've got just a couple minutes left. I wanted to just, first of all, turn it over to you guys again and ask, is there anything that you'd like to ask our panelists, each other, share with each other, perspective, different opinion, questions?
I would like to get the panel's opinion, not so much for you, Michael, but the distributors, on the consolidation that has been happening on the manufacturing side of the industry. How do you feel the pressure to, if you were buying one side of the family now to buy the other? I mean, how are you guys dealing with the pressure in the industry with the consolidation on manufacturing?
Joe, Pete, we haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, we're
Well,
still
that's-
trying to figure some of that stuff out on our
It's
side.
kind of difficult because you already have relations, with one company. And then if, say, Erico buys, I don't know, ABC company, in which, I've never had any experience with, but in order to do that, I have to drop my relationship with XYZ company. So that puts, then you have to go into a whole different set of evaluations. Do I want to make that change? Is it going to be,
So what's going to factor into the decision making for you? If you find yourself in that situation and you do, what do you do? What's going to factor into?
well, relationships, how strong a relationship I have with that vendor? Are they reliable? Do they do what they say they're going to do for us? Are they going to offer incentives? I mean, it has to be weighed.
Yeah, it's going to affect your rebate, et cetera, and so on.
Yeah, and there might be, SPAs involved or, just all kinds of things. Delivery problems, who knows? And so it has to be evaluated, and it's not going to be an easy decision.
A little scary too, huh? Because you don't know. I mean,
Well, yeah, unknown is always fearful, I think.
anxiety producing.
Yeah.
Pete, what's your
I was
perspective?
just going to say that it's how strong that relationship with it is with that main vendor. I mean, if they
The
bought.
main vendor?
Yeah, if it's Phillips Lighting, who just went through some consolidation and stuff like that, if your relationship's really strong with them, and you've got a good relationship and they've got a good track record, you're probably more willing to take on that other line, knowing that they'll stand behind what they say and get it done. You may have some bumps in the road, everybody does, but I think it's all on the relationship with that main vendor that you deal with. And the other thing I just wanted to say is, project manager is probably, we talk about the lighting jobs. I have a project manager that sits next to me in the office that I'm in, who is the busiest person probably in our company. Why? Because everybody wants her. Because she understands the flow of the construction that's going on in that job, not just on the contractor side, but also on the lighting vendor side. So, the value of that person alone could drive business towards your company by having a good, strong project management person.
Sure.
So,
Did we answer your question?
Yeah, I was just curious, it's just a general type question.
I would like to add to that, as a contractor's point, a lot of the larger companies are buying up other companies, and it does affect the contractor. And meaning, I hate to throw names out there, but take Schneider, they're buying up systems companies, and they will want to package a deal. They're like, okay, we now acquired APC, and they won't break that portion of the package out. So if it's specified on the drawings and everything else. And sometimes the owner doesn't want that. He wants a different UPS system or something like that. And it has complicated stuff because these large companies trying to bring in everything and get it to work together, and they still won't even talk together. They may be on SAP, but they can't tell you when it's going to ship. So it has, from our side, it has killed us a lot on scheduling simply because of consolidation of companies, and they can't talk to each other.
Yeah, I think it can help you, and I think it could hurt you both. And not to, wimp out on it, but it's really true. I mean, you're getting value by having a bigger company and a bigger resource. So there's opportunities that you might not have had prior to that. It also closes some doors too. It depends on the situation. But you got reps consolidating as well, rep changes being made, factories consolidating. I don't know, you're gonna have to look at it as an opportunity, you know? That's my opinion.
I'm not trying to be negative about it, but that portion of it, the consolidation portion of it, and the fact that Eaton has bought up Cooper, and Schneider has bought up a bunch of other companies, and when they buy these companies, and they try to bring them in, they'll do a joint sales call, bring them in, but it's still, it's not flowing correctly. When the orders get placed, you ask the one person that brought them in, and they say, well, can you tell me where my UPS is? They're like, no, you got to talk to them. Even though you're one big company, you got to talk to the different divisions. It would be great in a perfect world to see.
So it's still siloed.
It's still siloed. It's like all these pigeonholes, but it would be great for that portion of it to go away. As far as it hurting us, it doesn't hurt us other than that aspect. That's all. Not on a price point, or just, it's a communication point.
Has this been helpful? Just talking and hearing their perspective? I hope so. I would like you to thank our panelists. We got Pete and Michael and Mike and Joe, so let's give a hand to our panelists.